Hey all, back with some Stompy practice for tournaments. Let's see if I can see what I get. So this definitely looks like a keepable hand with both Nettle Sentinel, Young Wolf, and Quirion Ranger, and then a Bone Splitter later on to keep going in for damage. So I'll definitely keep this. Definitely prefer to get one less land in the beginning, but this will definitely be serviceable for what we need. So let's see what our opponent might be playing. Green-white, I'm not best with the meta at this point, so I'm not totally sure what that could be. So let's attack with the Sentinel so we can untap it by playing a green spell in a moment. I'm not too worried about removal right now, so I won't keep anything up for the vines. Let's attack with both of these, and then play the Ranger after. And we still have the mana up for vines if we need. Interesting choice on their part. So let's drop a land just to have a little bit extra to swing with. And since Hunger of the Wolf of the Howl Pack is just one mana and an instant, we can definitely swing with everything without fear of any of our stuff getting killed. Let's use the Ranger to untap the Sentinel and return the land that we just played, and pass the turn. Okay, so it's looking like a Bogles deck. It's a little annoying, but not the worst right now with the... Well, that makes it tough for the first strike, but we still can use Vines and a Hunger of the Howl Pack to get through. So let's have some fun with the Young Wolf. See if we can get them to block it. It won't matter with that. So it looks like we'll have to attack with the Nettle Sentinel. Let's see where that gets us. But just for funsies, let's attack for both to see if we can get the Young Wolf to die. So that way we can get the counters for the Hunger of the Howl Pack. And also to see if we can get some damage through to trigger the Pit Skulk. Cool. So let's just cast with this with the kicker. It should be enough to overpower it, and we get to untap it. Becomes a 6/6, so we can let that all go through. His guy dies, our guy drops through. Let's play the land, drop that. And then just because of of its abilities. Let's be a little risky and greedy and drop the Howl Pack on it. That's definitely nice to have, so we can equip that on the young wolf. And we can swing with everything, but I might leave back the Quirion Ranger. I'm not sure if you would have a way to prevent this with just 1 mana. Maybe he also is running vines in his hand and he would use it to trigger that, but that would be foolish because I can just equip it to anything else. And with the mutagenic growth, I can save anything on the board except for the ranger, which definitely helps. And he just lets me go through for the win. For the sideboard here, since he's using a lot of hexproof creatures, a lot of the attacks like Epic Confrontation, Guts Shot, and those won't be helpful. But we can definitely side in a bunch of these Gleeful Sabotages. And then I also have a Sundering Growth because I don't have enough Gleeful Sabotages right now. But we can drop that guy in. And in this case, given what he's running, let's take out the River Boas. And it's probably less likely that things will be dying as often. So we can take out 2 of the Hunger of the Howlpacks. And let's see where this gets us. Actually, let's take out the Longbow, because I only saw hexproof things. And we can leave in 1 of the Hungers for that, just to give us a little bit of that extra flexibility. And let's see how this goes. So I'm going to keep this hand. It's a little bit tighter than before, but I at least have a turn 1 and a turn 2 drop to see if I can get some mana or something else out of this. If I can get 1 more mana, I'll definitely be able to get into these Nest Invaders, which will help any other mana problems that I have. So I'm definitely happy to see the Gleeful Sabotage early before anything gets out of hand, and definitely using the Nest Invaders should help me reach Convoke with that, or Conspire, to get a little bit more out of it. Not exactly the card that I was hoping for on this, but it'll still be helpful. That's definitely annoying, so hopefully I can get the Gleeful Sabotage, so that way I can take out at least that. can't, so that's going to be a little painful. And I don't have enough mana for the vines. So let's just swing with both of these. It won't really matter if I leave one to block the Boggle, because it's got trample, so it'll just plow right over. And this will make sure I get at least the counter for the Sculpt guy here. And I can untap my Nettle. I can only block the other Scout. The Boggle's still just going to get through, leaving me at 8 or less. So I'm just going to take that and go down to 1, which is not great. I need a way of recovering, and I just wasn't able to get the mana that I needed for this turn to be able to cast the Sabotage, which, no matter what I play right now, I'll end up dying from the first strike and trample. Let's just concede and go on to game 3. All of the target abilities still won't be able to help because they're all hexproof. So I think I'm just going to leave the sideboard the way that it was and hope that we get the mana that we need for this one. Not exactly sure what they might be trying to do with all this time. Hopefully they're just stepping away and not actually revamping their deck too much, but that could be the case. So moving on to game 3, definitely going to want to play first with the aggressive deck. So we should be able to get out Nest Invader next with the Quirion Ranger, and then also use the Bone Splitter in a bit, and then the Nest Invader will help us trigger the hunger of the Howl Pack, which is definitely awesome. I don't like not seeing any enchantment destruction, given the fact that they're playing Bogles, but hopefully we draw into some of that later on. And hopefully we have the mana to cast it. So maybe this is a riskier hand than I should be taking, but we'll see. tap that, return this forest, get the mana, pay the nest invader cost. Cool. And if we draw another one, we can have a pretty nasty creature by giving it 6/6 with these tokens and then pumping it with whatever we need. So even if we don't get any enchantment destruction, we might be able to create a creature that's big enough to do what we need it to do. He's still just ramping out here. I'll probably start playing creatures next turn. Some enchantments with it. So it's definitely nice to be able to see that. I'm going to save it for some of his creatures later on. It seems like that would be the most beneficial thing, which means I definitely want to leave the Eldrazi spawn around until I'm able to cast that. So let's just go on the offensive here. Not as much damage as I would like to be doing right now. But it'll get the job done. And I'm going to go with the Bone Splitter because I want to save the Hungers for later on. And the Vines won't do anything right now. And as far as I know, Bogles doesn't run any sort of removal spell, so I'm not as worried about taking up my creatures. I could have, I guess, untapped, taken the land back, and equipped the Bone Splitter on something. But I think okay that I didn't. Just definitely would have been a better turn if I had. He's tapped out and not doing anything right now, so I will play a Nettle. Should have equipped the Bone Splitter, attacked, and then played the Nettle, but I think I can still do this with just not as good of a mana output as I would like, and I'll just put it on the Nest Invader, just in case later on I need to get rid of the spawn. It'll mean that I won't have to pay the extra mana to put it onto an attacker. First enchantment for us. Don't like the life link, but we should be able to get rid of these guys, and we've got an extra forest, which is excellent, because this means that we should be able to conspire to get rid of both of the ethereal armor and the lifelink, and still be able to swing this turn with some force. We would have to get rid of the Eldrazi spawn to be able to do that, but it's probably beneficial to do it, and while leaving everything untapped. So for the Conspire, I'm definitely going to tap down the Nettle, Sentinel, and probably the Quirion Ranger, and so that way when we cast those spells, I'll be able to untap it. So let's take out the first armor, and then let's tap this guy and this guy. Let's untap that. So we have targeted both of those. We're untapping our nettle. Let's just want to spread out the damage. Let's put it... Could have cast that because it's an instant during combat, which would have been better, because then we could choose which one would have gotten more damage through, while just definitely killing off the Ledgewalker, and it would allow us to untap the Sentinel. But we'll still be able to use the Quirion Ranger to untap those later on. So hopefully he doesn't have too many more enchantments in hand. So hopefully we'll be able to get through for all the damage that we need to be able to. I'm optimistic with Vines that we'll be able to do that. But it really will depend on what he plays. If he plays the same two armors next turn, or enchantments, that'll definitely cause some problems for us. But really, he'll definitely need some First Strike and Lifelink. Armadillo Cloak gets him a bit of the ways there, which is annoying. Definitely is one of my favorite cards from starting out. I used to have a playset, but I've long since sold them. Cool. I think even with that we should be able to win, because we've got 10 damage on the board, and then we could easily cast for an additional 4 damage, so that'll put us up at 14, and he sees that we'll be able to win out of this. Cool. Good game.